Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Hyphenate here, and today we're going to talk about the 5 most important things you need when filming a music video. Now, we're not talking about cameras, lenses, tripods, or gimbals, because those are obviously a given. We're going to talk about 5 other things that most people overlook, that if you do not use can actually cripple your video or make it more difficult. I just finished filming a music video here in Los Angeles, and I use these 5 things I'm about to mention. So let's start off with the list. Number 1, you need a speaker. Ideally, you want a speaker with an internal rechargeable battery. So that way, if you're in a location where there's no power, like I'm currently at, then you have power to play your music for the artist to perform over. Now, I know a lot of people use Bluetooth speakers or use the Bluetooth tech on their speakers. Do not do that. Now, when you film a music video, you have the speaker playing the music out loud. It has the song with the vocals on it, ideally a finalized version of the song, or even a rough mix of the song where the lyrics are not going to be moved. The artist lip syncs and performs over the song. That audio is captured into the camera, and then when you edit your video, you sync the audio that was captured in the camera to the actual audio of the song. And then you cut out or mute the audio that was recorded into the camera and only leave the song. Now with Bluetooth, there are sometimes very small delays throughout playback. Sometimes it can be caused by things around the speaker or people, or sometimes it just happens on its own. These very small micro delays can start to add up. If you sync it at the start, you might assume that the rest of that clip is in sync as well. But with those delays, over time, you can actually be off 1, 2, or even 3 frames. It can almost kill the vibe of the video when the lips are not moving in sync with the music. So that brings us to number 2. The second most important thing is a hardwire cable. Now, most speakers use 3.5mm aux cables. Some use 1/4" jacks, some use XLRs. Whatever it is that connects to your speaker, use that hard wire instead of using Bluetooth. I use the Unz Angle 3 Bluetooth speaker that has a 3.5mm jack. And then from there, we go to number 3, which is a playback device. I use a cell phone to connect to the cable to the speaker. Now you can use anything. It could be a tablet, it could be a laptop, it could be a CD player if you have that, whatever it is. Connect something hardwired to the cable and that to the speaker, and that way there's a real-time playback of the song with no risk of delays. Now, a very important thing to note when actually using your playback device, like a cell phone, you do not want to use streaming services to play back the music. Streaming can also, at times, introduce some small delays, just like the Bluetooth tech. So what I recommend is actually have the digital audio file in your playback device so everything plays real time. And one more tip when using the playback, when actually using the speaker, make sure that the artist is actually performing the lyrics out loud along with the song. They don't have to just lip sync and be quiet. The more that they actually perform out loud, the more energy and emotion actually is conveyed through their body and their mouth, and that's important for music videos. Number 4 is super crucial, especially if you're shooting outdoors or in a studio that's extremely well lit and bright. You need a variable ND filter. Generally for music videos, you're doing a lot of different location changes with various lighting scenarios, so a variable ND filter is ideal. It doesn't matter if you're shooting 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second. Whatever you're shooting at, whatever frame rate, your shutter speed needs to be double that. The cinematic look is 24 frames per second, which is what I always shoot in. So 24p, your shutter speed should be at 1/48th of a second. However, a lot of cameras don't have that, so you would round up to 1/50th of a second. So if you're using a wide aperture lens, like I'm using right now, a 55mm f1.8 lens, and I'm on a full frame camera, a lot of light gets introduced. So right now, a lot can be overexposed being outdoors. Now this looks terrible. There are 2 ways to cut down the light. One is shutter speed and the other one is aperture. Now, if you increase your shutter speed, let's say you go to 1/400th of a second, 1/1000th of a second, whatever it is, it cuts down the light, but it actually decreases the motion blur of a natural look and everything starts to look more choppy. It's not ideal, it doesn't look good. Another way to cut down light is by changing the aperture value. If you change your f-stop to a narrow depth of field, then you cut down the light. But what it does is it actually decreases background separation and the background gets less blurry. So right now I'm shooting at the 55mm f1.8 and I'm using the variable ND filter to cut down the light. But if I didn't have the ND filter, everything would be overexposed and I would have to change my aperture to maybe f9, f10, f11, and that background pop wouldn't be as flattering. and it defeats the purpose of having some of these lenses with wider aperture. With the variable ND filter, it'll cut down stops of light, and the more you rotate it, the more stops of light it'll cut. The variable ND filter that I use is the Aurora Aperture Power XND 2000, and that one actually cuts down even more light than most other ND filters, and it's awesome. And the fifth thing that I think is super important that a lot of people do not use on music videos is a reflector. Now, of course, on every shoot, you'll have a light source, whether it's the sun or if you have lights inside of a studio, but sometimes there's not enough balance of light on the darker parts of the face where there are shadows. This is most notable when shooting outdoors, especially on a sunny day. Having that extra little balance of light helps make the subject pop more and create more background separation. And the best thing is that they're super affordable. You can get a 4-foot 5-in-1 reflector for about 50 bucks or less. They're super portable, lightweight, and it really helps make a big difference. So there you guys have it. Those are the top 5 things that are must-haves for filming a music video. If you're interested in getting any of the 5 things I mentioned, I have links in the description with my personal recommendations for each of those 5 that you can purchase through either Amazon or B&H Photo. It doesn't change the price that you get it at, but it does help this channel. Please make sure to drop a like on the video and comment if you have any questions, and please make sure to subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.